This is a brief review, just not, I don't even want to call it a review, but maybe how it operates, kind of video for the Kenwood graphic equalizer. It's a GE-52B, commonly sold in a rack mount system, kind of like we're staring at now, where we've got a tuner and there's a graphic equalizer. Here we have a double deck and an amplifier, in which case would be a Kenwood also. And so, of course, a lot of receivers, I mean, they're an amplifier and receiver combo. They can catch a radio station. In this case, we would not have that. We'd have a dedicated amp with a dedicated tuner. But we're focusing in on this and what does a graphic equalizer do, and maybe a little bit about this particular unit. So this graphic equalizer, GE-52B, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 bands to the left, 10 bands to the right. And so what this does is for each frequency, these lower ones, 32, 64, 125, we could think of those as sort of low woofer sized frequencies. And then 250, 500, 1K, 2K, maybe 4K even, all of those as a mid-range frequency, and then 8K and 18, or is it, I think it's 16K kilohertz. Those would be tweeter range. And of course, you can argue that all day long because it's what people do. But for the sake of this demonstration, and to help people who don't really understand what a graphic equalizer does, then maybe this is helpful for you. All of these deal with the left speaker. All of these will deal with the right speaker. This will allow us to change the input that we're monitoring. This is turning the equalizer off and on. And then the equalizer record is the switch that allows us to put out whatever we've done here to a separate set of left and right RCA cables, and then do something like record it to tape with our equalizer settings. This is like a master level, so we can turn that level up and down, and that is a minus 20 dB cut. So right here would be the line level. There's no boost, and then we can actually bring it down if we wanted to, if it seemed like it was a little too hot, as they might say if you were a musician. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a frequency. I'm using the online tone generator. This is something you can grab off of your computer, and I have it right here, online tone generator. So you can Google that and type in any frequency you want. I'm playing that through a Bluetooth receiver that pumps out to RCA. So anyway, let's go ahead and start with a 440, which is a very common frequency. And we hear this pitch. And the equalizer's off, so it's on, it's powered on, but it's not actually active. So to activate it, I'll hit this button here. And you heard everything attenuate because all of these, the 10 bands on the right, 10 bands on the left, are pulled down to attenuate a minus dB level. We can bring that down by a master level control here and almost silence the signal entirely. So I'm going to bring it back up. We'll keep it at 0. And then that 440 hertz is really close to 500. So why don't I just jam that up a little bit to 500. Okay, so a little higher pitch. So I should be able to increase this by lifting both these 500s if this is working. And I think you can hear that, hopefully. I'll turn the EQ off. And then we'll hear the boost at 500. All right, so let's bring that back down. And we can do a check on the, let's do 125. That's one that should come over pretty good. Having a hard time with my computer. Here we go, 125. Lower pitch. Let's boost. Now I can hear the difference. You may not be able to hear the difference on the phone, but it's definitely there. Let me turn this off. Now another thing is the way that these bands of boost, we'll call them, occur. They occur not sharply at 125, but they actually have a fall off. So they literally will fall off at an angle, so that whenever we boost at 125, we're also boosting some at 140 and maybe even a little at 200. So that also means that if I boost this and this, I can also boost both of these and we get a whole lot more of that signal. Even though it's 125, we're catching some boost on the 64 hertz and 250 hertz bands here and here, and obviously again over here on the left. So we can turn our EQ off, you can hear attenuate, and then we can hear our boosted signal here. So what's the point of all this? Well, the point of all this is to give yourself the opportunity to shape your sound as you see fit to your ears. All of our ears are different. My ears, for example, really can't do anything at the 16 kilohertz band. I can't hear it. So if I throw these all the way to the top or if I throw them all the way to the bottom, they make absolutely no difference to my ears. But if I were to play some music, and I'll play some music that I made that is something that YouTube cannot cancel. This is a little electronics group that I did many years ago called Binary Time Lapse, and the song is called Carpet Ride, so we'll play a bit of it now. And I will shape this EQ in a band that I like, in a shape. And let's see what that bit sounds like. So we're hearing it with nothing, and then I want to turn the EQ on. Very attenuated. Let me come off of that. No equalizer. Now I'll turn it on. 1 second. And that's really it. What you can do is shape this differently to suit your tastes. And of course, the different kind of music that you listen to, you might want to change this. But in a modern amplifier, and this certainly isn't one of them, but if you did have a modern amplifier, it might have different kinds of presets that you could change, a rock or a classical or even a faux surround sound. And all that's cool, but nothing beats this because you have total control. And that's my number one problem with modern receivers, is you really don't have total EQ control unless you go way up there or basically just have your own EQ. So I prefer to have my own. 10 bands is very nice. Up here is a TAC EQA220, and I'll be connecting that up and shooting a separate video on that one. But it also has 10 bands, and they're a little different. Let's see, or are they the exact same? They are the exact, no. This is at 60, where the Kenwood is at 64, and notice that the Kenwood's lowest is 32, and this one's set at 30. Smaller dials. We do have a spectrum analyzer display, so I'll actually see that one in the next video that I do. But that's it. Hopefully that was helpful for you to understand a little bit at least about the Kenwood and whether or not the effect was that dramatic. Did it boost enough? Did it have a major amount of increase or decrease in terms of dB? You can be the judge of that. You're not really hearing the signal like I hear it in my ears over the microphone of my phone, and that's just how it is. I don't have any line outs to go and edit, and I don't plan on it. But this one here does have, it's showing a 0 here in the middle and then plus or minus 12 dB. So it may actually have a more significant difference. We shall see.